Good morning. My name is Alfonso Lopez, and I will be your instructor for the class Texas History 2301, Section 002. That's the section of this course. And so, what we're going to be doing in this session is going over the syllabus, and in reality, this is going to be a class introduction. The syllabus itself contains all the information that you need in order to navigate the course, to understand what are the requirements, how the course is going to be structured, how the classes or the lectures are going to be delivered on a weekly basis, the course assignments, what kind of assignments they are, some important due dates, and also about the exams, how the exams are going to be how they're going to be given and structured, how you can prepare for those exams and such. So everything you need to know is contained in the syllabus itself. And I have uploaded the syllabus already on Blackboard. And instead of just uploading the file, what I've done is that I actually created a page. So let me just share, in this case, the screen on Blackboard. Um, that way you'll be able to see. Let's see. Okay, so we got it. Um, all right, here we go. Okay, so this is um, the main page of Blackboard, and if you see here in the left hand menu column, there's going to be several links. I have actually organized already. I have designed already the Blackboard course page to be very easy to navigate. So you'll find, for example, syllabus on the very top, and when you click on it, the page, the syllabus, the entire document is going to appear. So you'll just be able to read it out of the page. And I have also included, of course, the file on the very bottom of the page. When you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll find there also um, the file itself. So the file is uploaded. If you need to actually, um, copy it or have it with you handy, or print it, um, it's optional. And also on the bottom, there's a folder that says required readings, and of course the required readings are the articles that you need to read to carry out the assignments for this course. So I'm actually saving you time, and that you don't need to really be looking for the readings themselves, the kind of the articles that you need for the assignments. They're on PDF files already available here on Blackboard on the very bottom. So once again, when you open the page on Blackboard, you're going to be able to click on syllabus and just read it out of the um, page. So it's going to be very very easy to identify. Now, um, let me just go over the syllabus itself, and in this case, what we're going to be doing. Let me just go back here to open the um, the page of the syllabus. I'm going to actually share. This is my document. This is my Word document. It's identical to the one on Blackboard, by the way. So, um, once again, this is a very important document. It's really the guide to the course. Everything you need to know is contained in this document. So let us go over some of this, the elements and the essentials of the syllabus, which is going to inform you what you need to know, how we're going to actually proceed across the semester in this class. So again, this is Texas History 2301, Section 002. My name is Alfonso Lopez. I will be your instructor for this class this semester. I may be reached at alfonso.lopez@austincc.edu. This is the official form of communication that must take place between faculty and students. So please be advised that this is the official form of communication that we must use. And if you need to reach me for any question or concern or comments, this is the easiest and fastest way, okay, to reach me, and I will reply to you immediately. Okay, this class is going to be asynchronous, meaning that there will be no designated class times and days in which we're going to actually hold class sessions. I know some courses are structured in that format, but in this case, this course will be delivered, fully online, of course, but it's not going to be structured in a way that we're going to be meeting in specific times and days. So what I will do, and this is something I will explain in just a few minutes down the road, is that every week I will be releasing two video lectures, recorded video lectures. So I'll record myself, just like in this video. It's very, very similar. And you'll be able to see me, hear me, and of course you'll be able to see the screen, the bullet points, the outlines, the maps, everything that I'm actually using. You'll be able to see it. And every week I will be posting two video lectures. It's almost like I'm holding two class sessions per week, but I'm recording them and I'm uploading the sessions on Blackboard and letting you know. I will be sending you an announcement, an email announcement indicating that the lectures are already posted and you're responsible to watch those lectures and take notes. Okay, so it's asynchronous, meaning, again, this is the way we're going to be actually conducting class for the entire semester. And it will be in communication as well. For questions that you might have, etc., just email me and I'll be responding to you promptly. Okay, so if there's some, of course, student technology, support services, the syllabus indicates the places where you need to go in case you need guidance or support, assistance, in order to be able to navigate Blackboard, be able to upload documents and watch the lectures and so on. There are places that, again, the syllabus indicates this is where you obtain all the help, okay, in case you need that. It's important, again, to mention here that Blackboard is fundamental for passing this course. I mean, this is the main platform we're going to be using for this class, so it's very important that you become very, very familiar and acquainted with this platform, and using it, be able to actually navigate it and so on and so forth, to use this program. All right, so this course description, just very briefly, what the course is about. So this is a Texas history course that surveys the entire history of Texas from prehistoric times, meaning that we're going to go back thousands and thousands of years and looking at the indigenous peoples of Texas. We're also going to be looking, of course, at the indigenous peoples of the Americas very generally, but at some point we're going to actually, narrow our focus and look at the indigenous peoples of Texas and their development, their historical development. And of course, we're going to be looking also at the Spanish presence in the Americas, their explorations across Mexico, across the Southwest, the American Southwest, and of course Texas itself, and of course the interaction between Spaniards and natives, and how the Spaniards were able to actually settle and colonize Texas. We're going to look at, of course, the process of colonization, of course, the colonial period, Spanish colonization of Texas and their interactions with the native groups, what kind of interactions existed between those two groups, and so on. And from that point, our course is also going to be looking at the process by which Texas, which was part of the Spanish colony of New Spain, is going to form part of the independence movement by which New Spain, which is now Mexico, of course, achieve its independence from Spain, and Texas becomes a province of Mexico, of the Mexican nation. We're going to be looking also at that period, the period of Texas being part of the nation state of Mexico, the Mexican Republic. And from that, our course is going to look at the Texas Revolution, the process by which Texas is going to separate from Mexico and become an independent republic. And we're going to be looking at that in great depth. Also, we're going to be looking at Texas becoming part of the American Union, the North American Union, United States, and becoming part of, again, this country. And the process by which, of course, Texas is going to participate also in the secession crisis in the United States, when the South, of course, seceded from the Union and the Civil War comes about. Of course, Texas was part of the Confederacy, the Southern Confederacy, and of course, we're going to look at that period of time as well, in which Texas participated in the Civil War as well. And then our course in the last portion is going to look at Texas history after the Civil War and the period of Reconstruction, how Texas was reconstructed after the Civil War, and entered the phase of modernization. Became to modernity. Texas now is modernizing its economy, is developing things like railroads, mines, agricultural companies, cattle ranching, for example, the coming of electricity, and so on and so forth, the rise of big cities, ports, and so on. So again, we're going to be looking at that phase as well, and then how people adapted in many cases to this new mode of life called modernity in Texas, but at the same time how people also felt somehow challenged to adapt to this new transition, this new development of modernity. And of course, we're going to see the rise of popular reform movements within Texas. That is the creation of associations like farmers' alliances and so on and so forth, in which people were trying to reform the state in a way that it will actually address the problems that people were facing as they were transitioning to a new way of life, of course, modernization. So again, this is going to take us into the 20th century, and we're going to look at the 20th century quite fully, looking at modernity and also the crises of modernity, for example, World War I, the Great Depression, and so on, and how Texas experienced, of course, those processes, and looking at, of course, the reform movement of the 1960s. There was great activism, of course, taking place in Texas, and we're going to actually take our course towards the end into the present day. So again, this is a general survey that is going to look at Texas from prehistoric times to the present and everything in between I just mentioned. And so this course is going to be divided into three parts, or three main historical periods. As I mentioned, the first period is going to look at the indigenous Spanish and Mexican backgrounds, and we're going to actually cover three topics regarding that particular section. It's going to span for about 4 or 5 weeks. And then the second section is going to be the section of independence, nationhood, and civil wars. We're going to cover 3 topics as well during that second portion. And the last part, the last third, is going to cover what I just said: modernization, crises, and reforms, looking at the post US Civil War period all the way to the present, covering an additional 3 topics as well. Okay, so it's important to understand that this is the way we're going to structure the course, in that there will be 3 sections or components. Those are historical periods, and each historical period is going to uh, consist of 3 main topics or themes that I will be discussing. So there's going to be 9 topics as a whole, 9 topics that we're going to cover throughout the semester in Texas history. Now, of course, it is also important to note that the kind of approach and methods that I use for teaching this course. I always inform students that the way I teach history is that I try to connect local events with global events. And so, even though this is a Texas history course and that we're supposed to be just looking at Texas itself, of course, this is what we're going to be doing. We're also going to be paying attention to the outside. In other words, Texas is not really an isolated island unto itself that is developing on its own without any influence from the outside. Of course, it's connected to the world. It has neighbors. It has, of course, Native American groups that live across the region that are migrating in and out, and they're bringing their own ideas, their own traditions. At some point, Texas is going to, be colonized by the Spaniards, but yet the French are also very near in Louisiana, so there's also that influence. And when Texas later on becomes part of Mexico, Texas was surrounded, of course, by other nations like the United States to the north. So there's also the influence of American ideas, if you will, pouring into Texas and influencing the development of Texas. So it is important to understand how Texas was connected to the outside and how Texas was influenced in the way that people actually settle and develop their own societies, how ideas from the outside, how peoples from the outside are coming in and pretty much becoming part of the story of Texas history. So again, this is very important that we're going to be connecting local and global events. So this is an approach that I take when I teach history. But also another approach is that when I teach history, I often borrow theories and approaches from other fields outside of history to enrich my understanding, my presentation of history. So instead of just going back in time and trying to reconstruct the past and trying to just tell you a story about what is happening in this year and so on and so forth, what I like to do is pretty much reconstruct the world as much as possible that people lived in the past, and try to understand how they perceived that world. Why was it meaningful for them? Why was it important? How they perceived it. So, in a certain sense, we have to psychoanalyze the people that we study in order to understand them. So, this is one thing I do, is that I borrow elements from other fields, like psychology, for example. So you'll see that from time to time, I will be borrowing, again, psychological theories in order to understand, for example, the upbringing of people in certain times, or the formation of character of certain leaders and how they were brought up and so on and so forth, to understand their psyche. In other words, what made them tick, what motivated their actions and so on and so forth. I borrow elements from anthropology whenever I study, for example, rituals and ceremonies that people practice that they believe were important to their daily lives. And so anthropology is very useful because it contains a lot of theories as to what rituals are, what exactly people interpret inside of the ritual space, and what kind of gods are believed to be present, and why is it important to worship them, and so on and so forth. So again, this is going to be a multidisciplinary approach. Multiple disciplines are going to be brought in from time to time during the lectures in order to enrich our understanding of history. Okay, so I'm not going to cover every single page of the syllabus, just the most important elements. So the other element I want to talk about is the textbook. So this is the textbook that we're going to be using. Robert Colbert, Arnoldo de Leon, and Greg Cantrell, again, the authors of this work. It's called The History of Texas. The 5th edition, by the way, is the 5th edition. And this is going to be a very useful text because even though I'm going to be drawing a lot of information from other sources, of course, materials that I read about indigenous groups, for example, or Mexican history and so on, that we're going to be, of course, discussing in the lectures that are not in the book nonetheless really provides a very good guide to the class. So you can, obtain information in the book that was lectured, even though it's not going to be all there, but it's going to really provide a very useful guidance for the course. So this is the textbook that we're going to be using. It's listed here in the syllabus, and there's of course a couple of required readings as well. 2 articles that are already available on Blackboard. I showed you on the syllabus page a folder at the very bottom of the page that contains required readings. Those are 2 articles that you need to read to complete 2 course assignments. Okay, so there's just there for the course assignments that are due in late November. Okay, so those are also provided to you already. The required readings, those articles are already there on PDF. And again, those are exclusively for completing the course assignments. Okay, so the mode of learning. This is something I mentioned briefly in the beginning of this presentation, and that is the mode of learning. How you're going to be learning in this course, how instruction is going to be delivered. And so, as I mentioned earlier, a moment ago, every class is going to be delivered through lectures that are recorded, just like this one, by the way. And so what I'll do is that every week I will be recording 2 lectures that will span for about an hour and 15 minutes each. So that's give and take the average amount of time that students spend in a classroom every week. There's 2 classes. The standard, of course, format is, let's say, Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday, and you meet twice a week for an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to emulate as much as possible that kind of format, in that twice a week I will record 2 lectures, an hour and 15 minutes each, and I will be uploading those lectures on Blackboard. So just to let you know, let me just go back to the Blackboard page. Okay, so you'll see exactly where the page is located. So on Blackboard, again, there's going to be syllabus. I already, of course, indicated that, but there's another link, there's another tab that is titled Instructional Materials. You click on it, you'll see three folders. One is called the recorded video lectures. The recorded video lectures are there. And so they're organized into topics. There's going to be 9 topics in the semester. And every topic is going to be covered in 3 class meetings or in 3 lectures. Okay? So every time I record a lecture on that topic, I will be posting it on its corresponding folder. And I will be emailing you an announcement indicating that I already recorded the lecture and it's already on Blackboard under recorded video lectures. So your responsibility is to go to Blackboard and open the file and watch the video in your own time and take as many notes as possible, because the 3 exams for this course are all going to be based on the lectures, exclusively on the lectures, 100%. So if you want to ace this class, if you want to excel, if you want to pass this class, it is very important that every week you discipline yourself to go to Blackboard and be watching the video lectures on a timely fashion, and be taking notes on those lectures. Everything that you can actually, note take, that will be, of course, the ideal. I mean, it's not just word for word, but I mean, you really want to extract as much as information from those lectures, because when the exam comes, I'm going to give you a series of questions on a specific topic that I cover. Let's say the indigenous peoples of the Americas. This is the first topic. You might get that topic, and I will be giving you a series of questions on that topic for you to answer, and the material that you need to answer those questions is from the lectures, okay, from your notes. So this is something that you must be very, very aware of, is that the key to pass this class is, watch the material every week, take notes, because when the exam comes, all the material that you need to pass those exams, to write successfully every answer for every question, is that you need those notes. Okay, so it is here under instructional materials that you will find the recorded video lectures that will be uploaded every week. I also going to be sharing my lecture outlines. So all of the outlines for every topic, of all those 9 topics, by the way, are going to be also posted on Blackboard for you to review. So they're not really lecture notes, they're just outlines, and they have the questions themselves for you to actually prepare for the exams. So I'm actually also giving you the questions in advance at the end of the document. At the end of the lecture outlines, you're going to find the questions that you actually need to study in, for that particular topic. So you open the file and you'll find 9 folders there that will have the lecture outlines and questions. So as I finish every topic and I complete the 3 classes for the topic, I will be posting also the outlines here as well. So just to give you an idea, if you're wondering, what the lecture outlines look like, let me just show you here. This is the document, for example, that you'll be watching, as I give the presentation. This is the document that you're going to be looking at. simultaneously. So this is the outline. This is the headline. This is the heading. Indigenous Peoples of the Americas and Texas. This is the title of the first topic. So what I'll do is that this is what I will be talking for 3 meetings. There'll be 3 video lectures uploaded on Blackboard on this topic on the folder that is titled Indigenous Peoples of the Americas and Texas. Okay, so this is the only thing that I'm going to be talking about. So the lectures are very, very structured in that they're not just giving randomly. Okay, the lectures are organized into themes, into topics. Okay, and every topic is going to be covered in 3 meetings or 3 videos, and this is the only thing that we're going to be discussing in those videos. Okay, for example, Indigenous Peoples of the Americas and Texas. So again, it contains the bullet points. The train of thought is there for you to follow. It has maps for you to aid you and visualize, what we're actually discussing about history. And again, we're going to actually cover this in about 3 meetings. And at the very end of the document, you'll have the series of questions that you need to study for this topic. So this is just like a study guide. So once we finish this topic, you might be asking, okay, so what is he going to ask about this when the exam comes, that is. So this is, again, the series of questions, about 4, an average of 4 questions per topic that you need to actually study for. Okay, so it tells you, okay, so write a thorough assessment of the indigenous peoples of the Americas and Texas before the European conquest of the Americas and so on. And it tells you, step 1, first, elaborate on the origins of Native American groups. And second, describe in detail the different historical stages of development that they went through. Third, describe the Native American groups that settled in Texas and explain their cultural and religious and social features and so on. And fourth, explaining what happened to those groups, to those societies after 900 AD, due to the environmental changes that transpired, okay, in the world during this time. So it's very simple. So all of those questions are directly connected to the material I lecture. So you don't need to be looking at any other source to answer those questions. It's all what I said, okay, in the videos, of course. So let's say that when the exam comes, okay, so let's say you get topic number 1, you'll be asked to actually answer those questions for the exam. Let's say you just get that topic. When the exam comes, we have to, of course, discuss 3 topics in order to get the first exam. Then we discuss another 3 topics. We have the second exam. And then lastly, we discuss the last 3 topics. And then we have the final. It's the same. So it's very structured and it's very simple. To pass this class, you need to be, of course, very disciplined in that you need to be watching the videos, taking notes, and when the exam comes, you actually answer the questions, save them on a file, and upload them on Blackboard on its tab. I'm going to open a tab, of course, that says first exam, second exam, final exam. So you upload the exams there. Okay, very, very simple. Okay, so going back then to the syllabus page. Okay, so this is the way we're going to be actually structuring instruction. This is the mode of learning. Okay, as I mentioned, there will be 9 topics. You can find that on page 3. The 3 historical periods and the themes or topics of each period. That is really the title of each lecture presentation. They're all there. This is something that you also are going to see on Blackboard in the video, recorded video lectures. You're going to find 9 folders, okay, titled after the topics. Of course, you're going to find the videos for each topic there, and you just have to go to Blackboard, of course, be watching them week by week. So again, it's very structured. The class is very, very organized, very structured. You don't need to organize your notes because they're already being organized for you in those themes once again. So as I mentioned, there will be 3 main exams in this course. The first and second exams are worth 20% of the final grade, and the final is worth 30%. And I just explained to you how they're going to be structured. Primarily, again, is that students will be asked to answer all of the questions on just one topic, just one. So we cover 3 topics, but you'll be asked to actually answer the questions on one topic. And from another topic, what I'll do is I'll select some key terms, and you'll also be required to, of course, elaborate, identify, describe those key terms as well from another topic. Okay, so again, it has 2 parts. Part 1, answer the questions again on one given topic for 80 points, and part 2 is identify, describe, elaborate on key terms from another topic for 20 points. Okay, so there's no multiple choice for fill in the blanks or anything like that. It's really a writing exercise here in which you must answer as fully as possible every question, and of course the key terms as well. So please be advised that I'm not really just requiring here a short type of answer. Is that I'm expecting that you elaborate in depth when you're answering those questions. Don't assume that I know what you're talking about, when you're just briefly mentioning, for example, what Native American religions were like. You need to provide details about, for example, what kind of beliefs they held in during those times, what kind of gods they believed in, provides examples of names. I'm going to be very descriptive into, for example, what they worship, what they believed to be real, where their gods lived, the goddesses, where they lived, why it was important to worship them, what kind of ceremonies were important and why. So again, those are details that you need to write down as fully as possible, because this is what actually I'm looking for during the exams is detail. And just be very descriptive and try to explain to the instructor as fully as possible, with the assumption that the instructor doesn't know anything again of history, or that you're writing to an audience that does not know anything of history. Okay, so this is the key to success in the exam. Okay, so 3 exams that are identical in their structure. 3 topics are covered, then the exam comes, and they're again directly asking questions on those topics, and there's key terms extracted as well from those topics as well. There's extra credit assignments are going to be also available. 3 extra credit assignments will be given or offered for all students regardless of grade standing. This is a great opportunity to boost exams grades, because for every extra credit assignment you can earn up to 10 points for each exam. So you can increase a whole letter grade, your exams grades, just by doing those extra credit assignments. They're going to be simple in that I'll present to you, let's say, an article, a short article, and I'll extract some questions from that reading that you need to just answer in 3 or 4 pages, double space, and that's 1 extra credit assignment. Okay, it's just reading a short piece, a short article, and answering questions again on those articles. So there's going to be 3, and everybody's entitled again to do those. Now the course assignments, there's 2 course assignments, and those course assignments are already available on Blackboard. You'll find a link on Blackboard that actually if I can just go and access, of course, Blackboard at this point. Um, okay. All right. So this is the Blackboard page, and you'll see here course assignments in the left hand column in the menu, and there you'll find folders that says article report number 1, article report number 2, and the extra credit assignments. Okay, so the article report number 1 and number 2, those are required. Those are actually, assignments that all students must complete and submit by the end of the semester. It's towards the end of November. And it is very simple. Once again, I'm actually presenting an article, a scholarly article on Texas history, where you have to read it and then answer a series of questions. It's 4 to 5 pages in length, of course, each assignment, and you submit those assignments on Blackboard. On here, there's a section that says submit work, and there's already again 2 links there. There says article report number 1, article report number 2. You upload again those assignments there. 15% of the final grade each. So it's very important that those course assignments are worth 15% of the final grade, each one of them. Okay, so now let me return back to the syllabus and continue just finishing again the last portion. Let's see, of the syllabus. So the guidelines again are on the syllabus for the course assignments, but they're also on Blackboard. Again, there's no way you can be lost, because everything you need to know, the instructions, the guidance, etc., even the articles themselves, they're all available on Blackboard, by the way. So this is the grade distribution. First and second exams 20% each, final exam 30%, article report number 1 15%, article report number 2 15%. Again, that's the grade distribution. And of course, take into account the extra credit assignments. Of course, they're very important. There's important calendar dates, of course, also stated on the syllabus for your information. And there's a tentative course schedule and assignment kind of outline there, in which I indicate on a week by week basis which particular topic we're covering. Okay, so for example, it says week 1, introduction and syllabus. So this is what we're doing this day. This is the introduction and the syllabus, and I'm taking again just one day, let's say Monday, to talk about this and record the video, upload it on Blackboard. But by Wednesday or Thursday, at max, I'm going to actually record the first lecture on indigenous peoples of the Americas in Texas and make that information available on Blackboard and send you an email announcement, by the way. So week by week, I will be recording the lectures of the topic that we're in, and I'm going to be releasing them every week. It can be Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. There's no actual, established timing, but every week from Monday through Thursday, there will be 2 videos that will be uploaded on Blackboard. You'll be informed, you'll be notified when those videos are available for you to review. I'll be sending you an announcement, by the way, an email announcement. And this is how we're going to proceed week by week. It tells you, of course, also the tentative dates for the first exam, also for the second exam, and also for submitting the articles, for example, in November 23rd, when the last lecture is going to be uploaded, December 2nd, for example, and the final exam when is going to be submitted as well, December 7th, and so on. Again, so it's very, very simple. The syllabus is going to be a very useful guide again for this class. And of course, the very last pages from page 8 to 17th, you're going to find policies and regulations. So it tells, information regarding policies for communication, for example, between faculty and students, the campus operations, protocols that we must follow when we go to the campus, for example, on academic honesty and integrity as well is there. Policies on course drops. One very important piece of information is that students have until September 9th to drop this course if they want to drop it without affecting their GPA, their financial aid, or their opportunities. There's a six opportunities that students have for completing a class or a course. So you have until September 9th to actually change or drop this course without affecting those opportunities or your records in any way. Okay. So, policies regarding incompletes. I'm not going to read everything for you. It will be very, very exhausting. But again, just to let you know that those policies are written there in this document. Student rights and responsibilities. And let me see. Another piece of information that might be important. Okay, so again, there's just a host of different policies, the departments that you need to actually go to whenever you require technical assistance, for example, or accommodations, and so on. Everything is listed there. Okay, so again, this is a very, very important document that you must keep handy, and if you have any questions, more than likely, when you're thinking about the assignments or you're thinking about due dates or instructions for completing the assignments and so on, or textbooks, required readings, all of that information is in the syllabus. So if you have any other questions, please email me and I will respond immediately to your questions. Again, this is an asynchronous course, and so instruction will be delivered, as I already mentioned, every week by posting those video lectures, and I will be letting you know. So if you have any questions on the lectures, on the material, for example, also please email me. This is the fastest and easiest way to contact me and to receive some form of guidance or response regarding class assignments or class material, etc. Okay, so the Blackboard page is very easy to navigate. Everything is there, already organized. It's designed to be as easy as possible. Again, it has the syllabus, the instructional material page. We find the instructional materials like the video lectures and the outlines, for example. It has the course assignments, of course, link for the course assignments and the extra credits, and where you submit the work. Again, very, very easy. So I will be your instructor this semester. My name is Alfonso Lopez, and I hope that this class is going to help you understand the history of Texas as thoroughly as possible. This is going to be a very fascinating course in that we're going to survey Texas history from prehistoric times all the way, again, thousands of years ago, and the formation of Native American societies in the Americas, but particularly in Texas, all the way to the present. It will be a fascinating journey, a learning experience. So this is all I have for you. I will send you an announcement that this video is already uploaded on Blackboard and where to find it. And please make sure that you watch this video thoroughly and expect the next video on Wednesday or Thursday for the first class on the indigenous peoples of the Americas in Texas. Okay, so I will be sending you an email notification just shortly, and I'll be, of course, expecting, of course, news or announcements in case that you have any questions. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video presentation. Okay, goodbye.